violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, in school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, cyberspace? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
2020 and 2021 were some of the most violent years in Milwaukee for non-fatal shootings and homicides, but 2022 is on track to be worse.
Woo! So it's only getting worse from 2020, 2021, and now 2022. These super gremlins are on demon time.
You have unfortunate people who are not controlling their anger, frustration.
And Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says they're seeing more mass shootings than before, like the 5 adults shot Friday near 13th and Febrance.
You heard that. More mass shootings. More mass shootings, and it's not the incel school shooter. Nah, B. It's your typical real nigga. The street dude. That's the guy who's committing the most mass shootings. So to that, I ask, sisters, come get your kids.
What do you think needs to be done to cut down on the rash of shootings that we've seen?
We all have ownership in having the impact. Understand that there are so many different resources out there. The need to have more collaboration, more support, and understand what the need is and being able to fulfill some role in that need.
MPD numbers show year-to-date, compared to 2021, homicides are up at least 20%, though a small drop in non-fatal shootings. Experts in violence prevention efforts say it's a problem requiring multiple solutions.
We have these issues with the courts. We have these issues with cases, people walking around and getting bails who shouldn't get bails and things.
Okay, so who was pioneering for criminal justice reform? Who was protesting for that? Who voted for that? Brother Vaughn? Brother Mays? Who voted for that, man? You got people on the streets who getting bonds who should not be getting bonds. Who are you to be the judge of somebody who doesn't get a bond and who does? Okay? Sounds like you're implementing your privilege into a person who's been systematically oppressed and marginalized. You're not thinking from their perspective. Okay? If this was a white guy, would you be saying the same thing if they were getting bombed out too? You see how the logic just falls apart? And this is what they take to the polls. And then when they get the results, they're upset. Things
of that nature. So the constant and progressive breakdown of the system is leading to more people also not wanting to deal with that system.
This is not a breakdown of the system. This is the system working exactly how you guys have instructed it to. This is what you've been protesting for. We remember those protests in Milwaukee. We remember y'all were one of the main ones talking about some defund the police. Were you not? So stop the cap or the turban or the head guard, whatever you want to say. Stop it.
And taking things into their own hands.
It's connected to things like access to education, healthcare, safe housing.
What? Oh my God. Let's listen.
Affordable housing, when any one of those situations is improved, people in that area are less likely to become victims of gun violence or perpetrators of gun.
So are you saying that the Kia boys ain't getting to a bag?
Violence.
In Milwaukee, Caroline Reinwald, WISN 12 News.
And 12 News reached out to Milwaukee's Office of Violence Prevention for comment on the violent weekend. We did not get a response.
Now at 5, a man shot inside his home while watching TV. It happened last night near 42nd and Sheridan. Bullet holes mark up that home today.
The neighborhood rattled after that shooting. So far, no suspects in custody.
Of course.
Bruce Harrison talked to the victim's family and people who live nearby. They have to be very frightened about all of this, Bruce.
The homeowner and neighbors are unnerved that the house was shot up again, but this time an innocent person was seriously injured.
I actually heard the gunshots. I was in my bedroom.
Those shots shattering the windows and walls of this home. One bullet striking a 42-year-old man watching TV.
And he's nonverbal. So he can't express, he can't comprehend what was going on. And I can imagine, so I was just devastated and just hurt because he's just like a child. He's innocent.
Carol Crowley knows the family, and the man's mother tells us off camera her son, who's autistic, will survive. But
wow, man. So these super gremlins shooting up autistic kids' cribs. Or I guess he's a 42-year-old man who's autistic. Either way. They're just not caring, and it's not getting better. And Karen doesn't have the solutions, as we just heard from her, saying it was due to not having access to health care and affordable housing and all this other BS. Look, if you want to make that argument, then why are the numbers getting worse? Okay? Why is it just getting worse? I know we're going through a recession and inflation, all that kind of stuff. But it's got to be deeper than that, because if they was already broke before the pandemonium, then I guess you can only imagine that they're probably getting broker. But I mean, a lot of dudes came up off that PPP, so I don't know, man. It's just, you can definitely see the effects of pre-pandemonium to after pandemonium. But that's not the only thing. I think they just kind of unleashed the floodgates and did a silent switch up of all the laws in the major cities, and this is the result.
she says he'll need surgery on his arm.
I think it's just terrible. It's someone that's just senseless.
According to police, the shooting happened about 8:30 Monday night. Police say they're investigating and searching for unknown suspects. What do you think about these shootings where people target homes without having any idea who's inside?
I think it's horrible, and I am a mother that lost a child to gun violence. And my son's anniversary was September 3rd, just passed. And I was dealing with that, and it hurts me deeply when I turn the news on and I hear about this violence.
The man's mother says this is the second time her home has been shot, and she's planning to move away with her son and the rest of the family.
And my thing is, the sister said that she lost her child to gun violence. Excuse me. So condolences to her, but did you change the way that you're voting? Did you change your political posturing? Because if you didn't, then it's like, did you even learn your lesson?
Reporting in Milwaukee, Bruce Harrison, TMJ4 News.
A Milwaukee woman's homicide. Her son has opened a business in her name.
Michelle Blackman was shot and killed inside her home in 2020. Our Ashley Sears joins us live now with how her son is honoring his mother through his love of food.
Yes, Stephanie, he's called the food truck Shell's Kitchen, named after his late mother, Michelle Blackman. He's using her photo as the business logo and her memory as his motivation. Alongside the hum of traffic at 68th and Silver Spring, an orange trailer sits parked on the road, creating its own buzz. Montrell Howard is hard at work inside, cooking up some of his favorite recipes.
She always used to cook, and my family used to cook, my grandma used to cook.
It's a business venture he started alone, but it doesn't feel that way.
She was a loving person. She was godly. Everybody who knows her know how she is. She was truthful.
Howard created the food truck Shell's Kitchen in honor of his late mother.
And it just doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. Anybody can get it. It's not just kids killing kids. It's kids killing grandparents as well. It's crazy how this older woman could find herself in the crosshairs of these super gremlins on demon time.
52-year-old Michelle Blackman was shot and killed inside her Milwaukee home in September of 2020. On the 2-year anniversary of her death, the business has opened in front of the same home, in part as a tribute.
Everybody hurt, but everybody moved on to my family, try to build and keep our name alive.
Blackman's photo graces the front of the truck with her favorite Bible verse underneath. While the pain of her loss persists, Howard finds comfort in her memory, honoring her life with his passion.
I'm very proud. I know that's my blessing. She's my blessing.
Now, Blackman was killed by her brother. Mario Stokes will be spending the rest of...
She was literally killed by her brother. Think about what type of anger and hatred you have to have for your own sister to just X her out like that. Now that's different. That is mad different. These super sibling gremlins are on demon time.
His life in a mental health institution. Reporting live at 68th and Silver Spring, Ashley Sears, Fox 6 News.
Glad to see he's come a long way. Ashley, thank you.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
New at 4:30, her ex-boyfriend shot her over a dozen times, all of it caught on video. The victim is now sharing her story, helping someone recognize that shooter.
We want to warn you, the video is disturbing. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza joins us now. Sabrina, what do we know?
Jim Marie, this woman was shot 14 times in front of her 3 children. Somehow,
14 times in front of her kids. That's different.
she survived. Her ex-boyfriend is the suspect, and police think the Chicago area might be one of the places where he's hiding with family.
I would like for the whole video to be played so people can understand from my point of view and from my kids' point of view.
Legs shaking uncontrollably, Nikeya Shumake relives her nightmare.
Wow, man. This woman is strong to get up on this damn camera and recount what happened to her. Okay, so there's a lot that we have to break down. The super gremlin that shot her, I can only imagine how lengthy of a rap sheet he had in his adult criminal history, not to mention his youth offender criminal history, because you don't just wake up and start doing this. He's exemplified a pattern of this violent behavior. And it seems like these types of actions are just accepted in the community until they're not. Like, he can easily, like, if he was not apprehended, he can easily go back on the streets and, you know, it would be like nothing ever happened. It would be like, you know, he just caught like a legit body that, you know, obviously catching a body shouldn't be celebrated, but there's like certain guys who are going to get celebrated for catching bodies because they ran up on their ops, or they ran up on somebody who was coming out to get them, or they were defending themselves. Like, there's bodies that you can catch that are quote unquote respectable, even though we don't condone any of it. But my point is that From the community's perspective, this should be even more egregious than killing another black man trying to, you know, kill a sister. But he can go back on the block and get his hustle on and still be respected and admired by his peer super gremlins based off of this backwards culture that we live in, glorify, and even protect.
Just kept shooting, then I just fell to the ground. I just laid there and just lay him, kept shooting it to me.
Look at that child, man. That's ridiculous.
He was done.
Her ex-boyfriend caught on camera shooting her 14 times on July.
So as you can see, the ex-boyfriend, indicators of demon time, the neck tattoos, and the grilled out teeth. And you can see he was sagging with gym shorts on and had the Dewey. It's just looking ridiculous, man. This is ghetto.
Times on July 23rd in Milwaukee. But what really got her, what made the tears start falling?
She screamed out of anger. She just wanted to stop.
Seeing their children, ages 12, 5, and 2, get out of the car to save her.
When I opened my eyes and I seen my baby, my eyes was able to focus, so I just got up.
How the hell does she stand up like that after being shot 14 times? That's crazy.
Up like this a little bit, and then I was like, oh, I could stand up. And then I just stood up all the way, and I grabbed my babies, and we went. I seen the lady, she was just sitting there watching. So I went to her car, and I opened the door, and I pushed her.
You heard what she said? The lady was just sitting there watching, so much for female solidarity. She ain't pull out her strap and start busting back. She didn't tell that man, hey, you need to leave that woman alone. Stop shooting her. She just sat there and watched. And I'm not saying one of these males in the community would have did anything either. That's not what I'm saying. But I know for a fact the police would have done something. For sure.
Her laundry over, and I was like, can you please just take me?
In the video, you can see 32-year-old Shumake's longtime boyfriend, Askia Strong, fire and seemingly come back to finish the job. Then he flees down an alley.
The moment I get up off that ground, I was a hero. It was victory for me from that point on.
Now, he's wanted for attempted murder. She's hoping sharing this video will help find him.
Just turn him in.
It's believed that Strong fled to hide with family in neighboring states, and we did reach out to state police as well as Chicago police to see who they're working with, if they're working with Milwaukee PD. But they could not tell us specifics. They want everyone to keep an eye out for Strong, but they don't want him to know where they have boots on the ground looking for him. From the newsroom, Sabrina Franza, CBS 2 News. Incredible that she survived, and glad she spoke with us. Thank you, Sabrina.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.